So, you want to make some artifact tokens of cool cards, eh? Well then Tawnos Solemn Survivor might be the commander for you. But first, if you hadn't hit that subscribe button, why not do that real quick? Tawnos Solemn Survivor reads 1 in a blue, legendary creature, human artificer. 2 and tap, create a token that's a copy of up to 1 target artifact token you control, mill 2 cards. 1 a white, a blue, and a black, tap, sacrifice 2 artifact tokens, exile an artifact or creature card from your graveyard, and create a token that's a copy of the exiled card, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Activate only as a sorcery. The obvious plan here would just be to load up your deck with cards that'll put Eldrazi in your graveyard, and then reanimate them. But I prefer the idea of a value beatdown Tawnos instead. If there's enough interest in the other version, I'll go back and do that one as well. But in the meantime, we're going to play a bunch of beefy creatures that we can play out normally and then reanimate once they kick the bucket, like Bronze Guardian. 4 and a white, artifact creature golem, with double strike, ward 2, other artifacts you control have ward 2, Bronze Guardian's power is equal to the number of artifacts you control, star 5. This card is great, since the tokens we will be making are artifacts in addition to their other types. We also exclusively run mono rocks as far as ramp goes, so this will be a big boy real fast. Consecrated Sphinx is 4 blue, creature type Sphinx with flying. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards, 4/6. We can draw more cards, and when we have too many cards in our hand, we can dump the stuff we want to reanimate. What's not to love? Cyberdrive Awakener is 5 and a blue for an artifact creature construct. Flying, other artifact creatures you control have flying. When Cyberdrive Awakener enters the battlefield until end of turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4, 4/4. This can give you one big swing in with all your mono rocks, and then give your reanimated creatures flying for the rest of the game. Grave Titan is 4 black, creature type giant with Death Touch. When Grave Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, put 2/2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, 6/6. This one's a flex spot, to be honest. If you have a favorite big beefy creature that you think would be better, then I would swap that in over this. But I think getting free zombies is really sweet. Shimmer Dragon is 4 blue, creature type dragon, flying as long as you control 4 or more artifacts. Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, draw a card, 5/6. As you'll see in a minute, we run a bunch of ways to make artifact tokens, and in doing so, we can create a massive card draw engine. Really cool abilities here. Sun Titan is 4 white, creature type giant with vigilance. Whenever Sun Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, bringing back our smaller pieces to the puzzle, all while punching face. Sharding Sphinx is 4 blue, artifact creature Sphinx with flying. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying. This serves 2 purposes. On one hand, we get a decent-sized attacker. On the other, we get tokens to help us reanimate cards. It's a win-win. Urza, Chief Artificer, is 3 white, black, legendary creature, human artificer. Affinity for artifact creatures. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact creature you control. Artifact creatures you control have menace. At the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You could argue that this would be a better commander here, but Tawnos can come down super early and start setting up, whereas this costs 6, just saying. Myr Battlesphere is 7 mana, artifact creature Myr construct. When Myr Battlesphere enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless Myr artifact creature tokens. Whenever Myr Battlesphere attacks, you may tap X untapped Myr you control. If you do, Myr Battlesphere gets +X/+0 until end of turn and deals X damage to target player or planeswalkers attacking for 7. Beater, plus it fuels future reanimation. Need I say more? Yes. Yes, I do, because this thing is a beast of an attacker ready to mow down opponents with Myr. Wormcoil Engine is a 6 mana artifact creature worm with Death Touch and Lifelink. When Wormcoil Engine dies, create a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with Death Touch and a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with Lifelink, 6/6. This card is so cool, and just having a token that makes tokens when we sacrifice it to get other tokens back from the grave is just good synergy. Now, we have a bunch of cards we want to play and reanimate, so our next step is that we need to get cards that'll continually make artifact tokens in order to keep that engine going. Tamiyo's Journal is 5 mana legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. Put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield with 2, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Tap, sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, then put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Important note about Tawnos' ability is it says we need to sacrifice 2 artifact tokens. Nowhere does it say they have to be creatures. Thopter Shop is 3 mana artifact. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. 2 and a white, tap, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. This can make us some Thopters as well as card draw. Great card to get us set up early. Mirrodin Besieged is 2 and a blue enchantment. As Mirrodin Besieged enters the battlefield, choose Mirren or Phyrexian. Mirren, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. Phyrexian, at the beginning of your end step, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. We will, by and large, be using this to get Myr tokens, although this can win us the game out of nowhere with how many artifacts and things we get into our grave. Thopter Spy Network is 2 blue enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Free Thopter, free card draw, feels good. Dovin Grand Arbiter is 1, a white and a blue for a legendary planeswalker. Dovin, +1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Dovin Grand Arbiter. -1, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, you gain 1 life. -7, look at the top 10 cards of your library, put 3 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, 3 starting loyalty. The ability to make a token is a minus ability, so we can't get it to it every single turn, but the plus ability to get loyalty counters to eventually ultimate Dovin can be real good. Whirler Rogue is 2 blue, creature type human rogue artificer. When Whirler Rogue enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. This is less of a continual source of tokens and more of a one-time injection of tokens if we need to reanimate stuff. But it's also extra cool that we can make our creatures not be able to be blocked for a turn. Sai Master Thopterist is 2 and a blue, legendary creature, human artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. 1 and a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card, 1/4. This is less impactful here than it might be in other decks. While we do run a decent amount of artifacts, it isn't anything to crazy combo out with. Marionette Master is 4 black, creature type human artificer with Fabricate 3. When this creature enters the battlefield, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it or create 3 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens. Whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to Marionette Master's power. 1/3. This one can make tokens. We need 1 time, or we can get some serious damage off of doing what this deck already wants to do. I prefer the damage personally, but you do you. Digsite Engineer is 2 and a white, creature type Dwarf Artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. With this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, 3/3. These tokens, just like Bronze Guardian, can get real big real fast. There are times I would consider waiting to play a Monorock until I could get this to trigger because it's so good. And that's it. That's the deck. Did I miss anything? Or would you rather see a different version of this deck? If so, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you really like this video, you can always join my Patreon or even just my channel here. Either way, I hope you have a wonderful day.